Every business owner with a sales team will face this at some stage. One of your best reps, your best performers, for some reason can't close a deal to save their life, and you've tried everything. You've tried a bit of tough love, you've tried to give them an arm around the shoulder, you've tried pep talks, you've tried incentives, and it's not working. They're not themselves, they're not getting back to the same levels that they needed to get to. And it's something that isn't really spoken about a lot. So we've had this question from a business owner who specifically asked us to do a video on this very subject, and also we've experienced it with one of the sales reps that we work with recently. They had a very similar pattern. They were smashing it on cloud 9, and for some reason it just died a death. Literally days on days on days without closing a single deal. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what we did, not just to get them out of their rut, but to get them back to top performance. And if you didn't know, my name's Adam Davies. I'm the CEO and founder of Sales Chief. We're a sales recruitment, training, management, all-in-one sales fractional management company. And we work with businesses in the coaching space, in the high-ticket service space, agency space. If you wanted to find out a little bit more about what we do, I'll leave a couple of links in the description so you can go and check us out. But let's get stuck into the video. So I want to set the scene. This is the situation that happened with one of the reps that we was working with. So she was absolutely killing it on cloud 9, top performer, consistently, and she was getting better and better and better actually. And then one day, no sales, next day, no sales, next day after, no sales. Now, one thing that we do very, very well is we track everything. So we can actually identify where the process is breaking down. So we can see very quickly, this isn't actually a marketing issue. Nothing's changed with marketing. This is a sales issue. This is a problem with sales. Now, we're speaking to her, obviously we can see confidence has dipped. Like everything is just not the same as it was when they were absolutely flying. And this happens a lot, by the way. I've had it in my career. I actually, in one of my sales roles that I had, I went over 2 years without not hitting my targets. And then I didn't hit my target 1 month. And that bounce back is really difficult. You've really got to pick yourself up and do things for the right reasons. But on top of that as well, with sales, there's tons of pressure. You put pressure on yourself because these guys are commission only. So if they're not closing, they're not earning any money. They've got bills to pay. They've got mouths to feed, and the business owner's spending a ton of money on marketing. So the more that these days are going by without a salesperson closing any deals, it's just costing them money. It's like turning on a tap and just letting just money just disappear down the drain. So the first thing that we did to help her get back to at least a very, very good level straight away is we stripped everything back to basics. When we say we stripped everything back to basics, we literally wrote her a script, but we told her it's more of a framework rather than a word for word script that she had to follow every single time. So we took a lot of the thinking out of it, because this is what happens, right? When you're in a position of trying to you're trying too hard and you're trying to close for the wrong reasons, you're overthinking. So what happens when you're overthinking is you're not listening because you're inside your own head. So all of the things that came naturally, those conversations that came naturally and it was just super easy, they're not easy anymore because you're missing key information. So obviously in a discovery call, one of the main things is learning their reason for change. But if you're thinking of your next question, I need to do this, I need to do that, then you're not listening. So they're giving you killer trigger words that's really important to them, real main motivations for change, real reasons for change, and you're just completely bypassing it because you're not picking up on it. Because all you're thinking about is what question shall I ask next? Or I haven't actually got any pain off the back of this. How am I going to get some pain? And this overthinking is absolutely killing you. So we went back to basics. We took all of the thinking away from her. So she just followed a framework. We didn't actually give her set questions either, but it was set answers she needed to get. So we need to get an answer in this category. So we know this target audience inside out. So we know a lot of the pain points that their clients have. So this is what you're looking for. You're looking for these triggers. So she was thinking more about the listening intently as opposed to what do I say next. All of that was done for her. So that got the first deal back over the line. And obviously you see the relief that comes out of that. The main thing now is to keep that going and keep that momentum going. So not just like, right, okay, I've got a deal done. I'm all right for a couple of days now. I can breathe. It's not, we want to keep that foot on the gas then at that stage because now we've got the basics in there. So the other thing that we did, and the next thing that we did is we literally said, right, take 2 hours out of your day every day, because at the moment she was not wasting leads, but she wasn't as efficient as she needed to be. So we took 2 hours out of her day. You listen to your best calls every day for those 2 hours. What that does is it breaks pattern. If you've gone through days and days with just hearing no and just getting rejection, you kind of start thinking, I can't do this, and you're starting negative thoughts all the time. It's breaking those patterns. So you actually, firstly, you're listening to you having a good conversation and having a good sales call. So you're picking up on certain things that you've said, your tonality, your energy. But then, like I said, it's breaking that pattern that you can hear that you're actually closing. So it's almost like you just closed multiple deals on the trot. So depending on how long your sales calls are, you have to adapt that. But we wanted her to listen to at least 2 or 3 every single day. And again, it just gets you back into that spirit of being a closer. I am closing deals. And it starts to take that thinking out of it as well. But you do pick up on the good things that you're doing well. You can hear some of the bad things, even on the good calls. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. But rather than thinking I'm terrible at sales, what they're actually thinking now is, oh, I just need to change that. I just need to do this. Again, it completely flips that mindset. Now, the other thing that we did, because a lot of, particularly with closing, it's in here. So if you're on a sales call for the wrong, or you're trying to close for the wrong reasons, i.e. I need to close somebody because I'm not going to be able to fucking eat at the end of the month, you're going to have a completely different energy for somebody who's making twice as much money as they actually need, and they don't need that person on the other end of the phone to actually buy. And the only reason that they're so energized, or they are so enthusiastic about helping them get that person over the line, is because it's actually going to benefit them. So if you've been following us for a little while, you'll know there's 2 key principles that we follow. So clients' needs over my needs is number 1, right? So if you're thinking I need to close because I need to close, you're going to lose way more than you win. If you're thinking this person I can absolutely help and I can absolutely fix that pain or problem they've just told me about, and I can completely change their mind, you're going to put pressure on them from a completely different place. It's coming from a place of love. The energy is good energy, and you'll be able to apply a little bit more pressure as that person needs it. So it gives you a bit of a 1-over. So again, we flip the script on that. But the other thing, the other principle that we're following is you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So we had to reframe her brain into not being that person that's a struggling salesperson that's desperate for deals, because guess what? If that's what you are, that's how you're going to show yourself on a call. In terms of, we flipped the script that she is a £10,000 a month closer. She's just not quite there at the moment. Fine, she's just catching up, but she is a £10,000 a month closer, because that gives you that with or without you energy. Prospects on a sales call, they don't like to be sold to, but they like to buy things. So when you've got that with or without you energy, it gives them a sense of power and control over the call, because they don't want you sounding desperate and trying to force you into doing something you don't want to do, right? So changing that perspective that you've got and coming into it from the right place, as opposed to, oh my God, I need to pay my bills, it's just massively going to help and take the pressure off. But also from the prospect side of things. And also, by the way, a prospect doesn't give a fuck if you're making £10,000 a month, £20,000 a month, £100,000 a month. All they care about is, can you help me solve this problem? And if you can, great, I'm in. If you can't, fine, fuck it, I'm gone. That's all they care about. They don't care if you're having a bad day, good day, whatever. Couldn't give a toss, as long as you're turning up on the call with the right energy. And when I talk about right energy, by the way, I always talk it back to Jordan Belfort's 3 principles that he's got. If you've studied Jordan Belfort, you know these off the top of your head. We was force-fed these back in the day. Sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as hell, and a force to be reckoned with. That's great energy on a sales call. So if you've got those 3 in abundance, the prospect will buy into you and they'll believe into you, particularly when you're telling them you're going to help them solve this problem. So the key takeaway here is, when you've got a sales rep in a rut, don't add more. Take things away. Take the thinking away. Strip back all of the pressure. Strip back all of the overthinking, all of the extra pressure that they're taking into a sales call. Do that thinking for them. A script or framework that's proven will definitely help with it. Have them listen to some of their most successful calls in spare time, or take them off of calls, take them out of the front line, so to speak, and have them listen to some of their calls. And also reframing that mindset as well, getting them thinking of what their future self needs to look like, what themselves hitting their goals needs to look like, and they'll come out of that rut quicker than they came into it. If you did like this video, I've got this video here that I think you'll enjoy. But also, if you've got a question that you feel like you'd need answering, or you would benefit from having it answered on one of these type videos, there's a link in the description where you can click that and you can actually fill out some details. You can do it all anonymously, and we'll do a video answering your question. But other than that, do the usual things: subscribe, like, do all of that kind of stuff that YouTube loves, because it really helps us out and it means that we can do more of these videos for you. I'll see you in the next one.